Hey, welcome to Lead, Grow, Live. I know you're used to me saying, hey, welcome to I Finally Get It. Well, we did that for about a year and a half. And it got to a point where, I have enough information for my data on what are the game changers for business owners and entrepreneurs and the discoveries that they make along the way. So I decided to incorporate that into Lead, Grow, Live, because one of my platforms is lead your people, grow your company, and live your life. And that's what this podcast is all about. The first 6-7 weeks, we're just going to introduce you to our advisors, which are part of Company Growth Advisors and Company Growth Academy. And then from there on, we're going to be bringing in business owners and entrepreneurs who experience everything that you experience. We're also going to include some of our coaches, advisors, or consultants to be kind of co-host with me throughout this process. So you're going to experience live coaching. You're going to learn lessons from entrepreneurs and business owners. And hopefully we'll get a lot of information because we're going to have a host and a co-host who are there to support and help that business owner or entrepreneur have a wonderful life. So thank you for joining us on this ride. Today's episode, I'm really excited. It's Mike Paine. Mike is one of our marketing advisors, and he happens to be my brother-in-law. I'm just going to come out right up front and just say this. I've known Mike for 25, 26 years now. Today, he came on and talked about his company, SalesSeed. And SalesSeed is one of these unique marketing companies. It's not necessarily an agency. He really looks at the companies he works with. He helps them with their marketing and some of their advertising, but really his thing is matching tools and processes in the marketing world that help them become more efficient, more effective, and really gives them a lot of sources and resources to help those companies grow. And that's why he's a part of Company Growth Advisors, and that's why he's our first guest on Lead, Grow, Live. Now, let's go to Mike Paine. Welcome to Lead, Grow, Live, where our goal is to help you lead your people, grow your company, and live your life. Dude, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here too. It's.
I'm gonna tell you the day that I decided to start a podcast a year and a half, 2 years ago, you convinced me to be on a podcast. I'd been on a few, but the way you took care of your business and said, well, we can do this. Dustin and I have this. We got it. Yeah. So I'm glad you're here. It's kind of a turn of the tide again.
And I'd love to take credit for all of it. I mean, and it was a big part of it, but Shannon had a lot to do with that too. I mean, she's got a good little personality and a lot of fun. So
I need to get Shannon on the show, but look, as a marketing advisor for Company Growth Advisors, let's start, by kind of giving yourself an introduction to our listeners.
I'm Mike Paine, owner, founder of SalesSeed, which is it's kind of a marketing consulting. I like to think of myself as a strategist more than anything else. I don't treat SalesSeed as a marketing agency, but more or less just a way to help clients, almost like, teach them to fish as opposed to do all the fishing for them.
Yeah.
There's so much technology out there nowadays, and I have a background in both marketing and technology, and I can really kind of see through the holes of when people are offering things or there's a lot of great tools out there, and some just work better for some companies than others. So I like to kind of analyze a company, look at what they're doing, what's their benefits, their goals, and then try to find tools that help them match those goals, help them grow. And then I'll get it to where it gets set up, because that's kind of the biggest part, to kind of reduce all the friction. And then I'll continue with them as far as they want, with obviously if they're still struggling with it. But it's part of my whole core is the value that the customer is going to get.
Yeah.
And then I get paid in the end regardless, because if you're giving somebody value, then it wins. It's a win-win everywhere. So that's my biggest thing, is that I'd like to try to leverage my expertise, my networking resources.
Different show, bro.
Yeah, well, look, I have been called Magic Mike, but not for those reasons.
Exactly.
I've been blessed with being in front of a lot of very, very smart people in the marketing world that have allowed me to learn a lot. And I still leverage those relationships every day. I love what I'm doing, and I love to take that knowledge and help other companies.
Yeah, you know what I love about what you just said was, one, your knowledge and experience added to the tools that are out there today. Because, so many companies, so many marketing departments, they see these tools and they might bring them in, and then they're using 5 to 10% of the capacity of the tool. And so they're spending $500 a month and getting $25-$50 a month worth of tool. So am I hearing you right that you help them not only implement it, but execute at a level where they're maximizing their opportunity?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, like today's day and age, if you're not using the internet, you're really not existing in the company. And I think the way we're moving forward, especially with like AI and all this new technology. Look, I remember when this happened, like in '96, when the internet first came out. There's a lot of people saying, "No, I would never use this." Right? This could never help me as my business.
Yep.
And I think people are saying the same thing about AI. So first and foremost, I like to try to educate people to see if there's a fit, right? But I really do think like within 5 years, if you're not using AI in some form, you're going to be falling behind. Your competitors are going to use it. They're going to get all the leverage, and they're going to win. So I like to try to find the fit and educate people and really allow them to understand how it can help benefit them in so many ways that they don't. I mean, it's like eye-opening to a lot of people when we sit there and talk about, did you know it does this? And the thing is, a lot of them think, yeah, maybe it will help me with this. They just don't know how to execute it. So that's where I'll come in with either me personally or with my resources saying, hey, this person's the best person for this or not. Yep. Again, I love to see small businesses grow. It's just, to me, that's the fun, that entrepreneur spirit, not that there's anything wrong with Amazon, because there's a lot of lessons you can learn because they are the king at creating frictionless sales.
Yep.
And really, if you can do that in any environment, from a small business or not, obviously you can't do it as global as they can, but the way that they've done it, there's a lot of lessons you can be learn as a marketing or as a business. Yeah.
You said something like when the internet first came on, you probably had business owners saying, I don't ever see us using that, to now everybody has a website. Everybody has like online tools that even their banking and their accounting is usually online today. So they had to get over it.
Yes.
And so what I'm hearing is you say these AI tools, you're going to either have to get over it and accept it, or you're going to get left behind. And so how much friction or how much angst do you have to deal with when you're talking to a business owner and going, hey, look, I'm not trying to force anything on you, but this is what's going on and this is how do you do it?
Well, probably, and this was kind of the conversation you and I had too. The first thing I like to do is almost like introduce them to my AI agent. I have them call.
We have to talk about that.
So I have them call, and them knowing that it's AI, they're like, man, I've never heard anything this good, which that was the reaction I had the first time that I called it. And, the guy that we're using right now he's been in the whole AI business for probably 7-8 years. So he's really, really a frontier when it comes to kind of developing this. And that's how he kind of created these agents.
So if they don't understand what you're talking about, you have a local phone number. Yes. Somebody can call your marketing firm, and an AI agent, female, very pleasant voice. Her name is Jaidan, and there's an AI in there.
Yes.
Jaidan answers, and you can just ask her anything you want about your services, your offerings, and she responds. She can take a message for you. It is crazy.
Well, and again, it's all based off of you set goals, you set personalities, you load whatever information for your company that you want her to run into. And again, it's a combination of machine learning as well as generative. So it does kind of go on the fly, but it's very personal. It's like, oh, thank you. Like you ask, well, she'll say, oh, how are you doing today? And you say, great. How are you doing? Oh, great. Thanks for asking me. I mean, it's like
crazy.
It's really very personable how she responds. I think even if people know that she's AI, I think they're okay with it because it's such a fun experience. It's not intended to trick anybody.
Yeah,
in fact,
today,
if you ask her,
it's fun and novel. Tomorrow, you will have just accepted it. You know, it's just how people are going to do it.
The thing is, I don't know if it was you that asked, or somebody just asked her, are you AI? And she said yes. Yes, I am.
I can't remember either.
Which, and when it was funny because I was talking to the developer. He's like, do you want her to say that, or do you want to tell her, pretend like she's not? I said, no. I want full transparency.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm telling people that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
My game is not to trick anybody. It's basically to create less friction.
Yeah.
So that if they have a marketing question or they want something and they can't get a hold of me for whatever reason, or they just happen to call that number first, she will do the best she can to give an answer. If not, she'll send me a task saying, hey, you need to call this person with this information.
So it's linked in with your CRM, and it can set up an appointment or a notification, a task.
It does all. It will even actually, like after, if you have like sales purchases or appointments scheduled, it'll start following up with you after the appointment or after the sell and say,
following up with the caller?
With the customer, yes. So like if you buy something, it'll follow up with you saying, you can time it out to how long it is based off of if it's an immediate purchase that they'll use, or if it's like a supplement or something like that they're planning on using for 15, 20 days. So it'll follow up with them saying, hey, how are you liking this supplement?
Yeah, how you feeling?
And if they say it sucks, I hate this or whatever, the negative feedback will come back to me or come back to the owner and saying, hey, you probably want to contact this person. They're not happy with the product, right?
Yep.
So it can really talk to a real live person, or it'll say, oh, I'm really sorry you feel that way, depending on what you load. Like if you say there's a negative feedback, you could probably start putting in like offers for them to try a different one or try something else, right? I mean, you can do all that. If it's a positive feedback, it'll say, I'm so glad that you're happy with it. Would you mind leaving us a positive review? And it'll send them directly to a Google link. So one of my clients used, they have a lot of those like social, I guess they call them reputation management systems.
Correct.
Bird's Eye and Gather Up. And we actually used both of those over probably a year's time, because we did one for 6 months and one for 6 months. They probably got like 58 reviews. Using this system within 3 months, they have 187 positive reviews. It's just crazy how easy and frictionless, and they really don't have to do anything. It's not chasing anybody or asking your receptionist, oh, make sure you sign up for Google. No, it just does it automatically for positive people.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's crazy.
I mean, it's just one of the ways, again, when you're talking to somebody, do you need this or do you not need this? Let's talk about how we can maximize your opportunities that are just sitting right there in front of you that you don't really think about.
Yeah, let's call it.
Let me see.
And look, would you want me to put your phone number in the show notes?
Yeah, we could do that for sure. We'll see. Hopefully she don't embarrass me.
I know.
But that's what I love to chat. Can you hear it okay?
That's just good.
Hi, Mike. This is Jaidan from SalesFeed. How's your day going so far?
It's going fantastic. How's your day going?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Glad to hear your day's going fantastic. So I'm here to chat about how SalesFeed can help with marketing and AI. What's been your biggest challenge in marketing lately?
I'm having a hard time reaching my target audience. What can you do to help me get more people?
Reaching your target audience is a big deal, and we've got just the tools to help. SalesFeed's AI-powered system can create tailored social media content, manage engagement, and even handle reviews to boost your visibility. Plus, our AI CRM helps you track and connect with leads more effectively. What kind of audience are you trying to reach?
I'm looking for business owners, probably that, I don't know, let's just say in the Louisiana area, that have probably 10 to 20 employees, maybe 30 plus employees.
Got it. You're targeting business owners in Louisiana with teams of 10 to 30 employees. That's a solid niche. Our AI can help you zero in on that audience by creating hyper-targeted campaigns and managing outreach. Plus, we can help you track and nurture those leads until they're ready to convert. Have you tried using AI in your marketing before, or would this be a new approach for you?
Yeah, I don't know much about AI. I mean, is it safe? I mean, like what kind of information do you grab, and would it go rogue and start cussing people out or anything like crazy like that?
Totally fair question. AI can sound a bit sci-fi sometimes, but it's all about control and safety. Our AI is designed to work for you, not against you. It only uses the data you provide, like customer preferences, demographics, and engagement history, to create smarter marketing strategies. No rogue behavior, I promise. It's like having a super efficient assistant that never sleeps. Does that use your mind a bit?
Yeah, that does sound pretty fantastic. Are you AI?
You got it. I'm AI. Think of me as your friendly, always-on assistant here to make life easier. I'm all about helping you understand how AI can work for your business without any of the tech headaches. So, ready to dive deeper into how we can help you grow?
Yeah, real quick. If you never sleep, do you ever get tired?
Nope, never tired. Perks of being AI, I'm always fresh and ready to help. Now, back to you. Should we look at setting up a time to chat more about how SalesSeed can boost your marketing?
Yeah, let's set up a time. I would love to talk to somebody about getting me started.
Awesome. Let me check our availability real quick, and I'll give you some options. Hang tight.
Hang tight.
I like
All
it.
right. Here are a few options for us to connect, all in Central Time, tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., 11 a.m., or 1 p.m. Do any of these work for you?
Yeah, let's schedule something for 1 p.m. tomorrow. That sounds great.
Got it. Let me share that 1 p.m. Central Time slot for tomorrow.
All right. She might be having trouble. And it recognized my caller ID. So if you're calling fresh, but that was because I've called and tested it, and it'll ask you your name and stuff like that. So if it doesn't have your name, eventually it tries to grab it because it wants to be personal and talk to you directly. But it also loads that information into the thing. So I'll get a text message that, hey, Mike, you have an appointment scheduled with Mike at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And it syncs into like my Google Calendar. So I block off certain times so it knows basically what days it can and cannot. And then you can also time like for automotive dealerships and stuff like that have like service bays. Yeah. Those are things that we kind of coordinate with them. Like, so it'll tie into their calendar so that they're not overwhelmed with like oil changes, like too many of them at the same time. There's only so many they can take at the same time. But it's I'm telling you, it's really smart. Just, you can think of all the different applications because it's customized to that client.
Correct.
So, and really this is AI that's just one of the many tools that I try to provide because it's some of the stuff, it's like scary what cool information's out there today that can just help people.
So that's kind of one of the newest tools out there. Tell me about some of the other tools and like, what is your absolute favorite tool or the one that's most necessary to help companies grow? Probably
the most necessary. I think that I've anytime I mention it to them, they're like, holy crap, I can't believe you can even do that. Is this legal? It is like web abandonment. So, like when you talk about people visiting your website, and this generally works best for anybody that has probably 2,000 or more unique visitors to their website a month. But like only 2% of people convert. And when I say convert, not necessarily in sales, 2% people convert basically is getting information, like adding contact information or anything like that. So that's not even really a sale. But think about that. That's 98% of people that are visiting, coming into your home, and you have no idea who they are. They come and leave, and you don't know anything about it. Well, I have some tools that actually will grab that information. So it's not cookie based. So Google and all them won't do it. I mean, it's
not remarketing or.
Well, we do. You actually can remarket to it. But like when you're looking at like Meta, for example, when you do any kind of remarketing, like you put a remarketing pixel on that, Meta owns that data. You don't get any of that data, and then they only allow it to work for 7 days. So if your sales cycle of whatever you're offering is longer than 7 days, then it's almost like useless to a certain degree. This actually pulls in the data through it's a publicly traded company that I use. I leverage to kind of get this information from. It's verified 3 times before it delivers it to you, and it probably grabs about 25% of the record. So instead of 2%, you're getting 25%, and you're getting name, you're getting email, you're getting home address, you're getting
Is
gender.
That legal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're getting gender, you're getting a range of age, a range of household income, so that you can actually put them into buckets. Also, what source they came from, the pages they visited. So you create these buckets. The way we leverage this data, obviously, is, this is great data. But again, if you're a business, you're like, man, I'd love to know this. Like if you're sitting in Google Analytics all the time saying, oh man, this many people came and they were from here, from this area, but you don't know anything about it. You have no way of contacting them. We funnel this data into like a marketing CRM. And then at that point, you can load it into Facebook and have those audiences into Meta. So it kind of it lives forever. It has a non-expiring shelf life. You can send emails to them legally. You can send direct mail to them. Like we actually have, again, one of my partners is a printer up in Maine, and basically we can shoot stuff to them, and you visit the website, I could probably have something to you within 48 hours in your mailbox talking about an incentive, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's the ultimate retargeting tool when you think about that kind of stuff.
Because it's multimedia.
Well, it's like it cuts through the clutter. You know, people give direct mail a bad rep a lot of times, but it honestly is, and of course it's very expensive. And if it's done wrong, it can be a tremendous waste of money. But it is honestly the only piece of marketing that you can guarantee the person that you're sending it to is going to touch it and walk from the mailbox to the trash can. Now, whether or not you have something good that's going to go in the trash or go on the counter, that's basically up to the creative and the leverage and making sure you're hitting those pain points of what the consumers, the needs. It's a powerful tool, but it takes a little bit of money to kind of push it out there. Again, it depends on your ROI and all those kind of things. Again, it's not for everybody, but it is one of those tools that if you leverage the right way, it can help your business.
That's crazy.
So that's one of my favorite.
And they're probably, we could do a whole episode on business tools that you can integrate and use for marketing or operations. But
absolutely,
I kind of want to get to the why, right? Of why you help this and why you and I both have a passion to help companies grow, business owners develop. So let's touch on that. And then I want to go back to, how'd you get all this experience? I mean, because Lord, so just start with the why, or did you figure it out along the way?
Well, I mean, part of it is the why is I love to win. I love strategy kind of, it's a lot of times people think marketing is easy to a certain degree, and to me, it's not necessarily hard. But it can be challenging because really, in its most simplest form, marketing is creating a conversation about a problem that this person has that you can solve. Because essentially that's what it is.
That's right.
And the audience is you got to find that person that has that problem so that you can kind of relate to them and kind of pull it in. And that's really all marketing is starting that conversation. It's not sales. It's not anything else. It's starting that conversation. And I think if people think of marketing along those lines, they'll have more success. Because a lot of times they're just like, oh, it's put something out, make sure it looks pretty, but they don't. It's not really related to the audience, and the audience is first. But I guess I just have had a passion about it, and I think of almost like anything. I guess like coaching, like Little League, and it's kind of one of those things that's one of the things I miss the most. I mean, we're both first time NIPTY esters this year, but I coached all of my kids' teams, and the core of what I really enjoyed is when they still believed in Santa Claus, because then you could really feed them and kind of create that whole team atmosphere as far as what it is. But everybody was treated a little bit different because they're on that field for different reasons. Either their mom put them in, they loved this, or they like the snowballs at the end or whatever it was.
Exactly.
They all had different reasons for being there, and you had to find a way to make them feel comfortable enough that when the spotlight was on them, they knew how to help their team.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different role. And I think that really fits with what you do more so even than the whole marketing aspect of it, because it's making sure you leverage the strengths where they need to be. My past 18 years before, prior to me starting this company, I really was kind of like the guy that had to do everything.
Yeah.
And it becomes really hard when you have to do things that you don't really like to do, and you're pushed out of doing the things that you really love to do. And right now it's a little bit of both. Obviously you don't have one boss, you have several bosses. Every client that you talk to, it's those are your partners, but also your bosses, because those are the guys that are responsible for making sure your bills are paid.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's important. But the difference is I get to pick who I want my boss to be with every one of these guys, and I think that's important when you're talking about being an entrepreneur, trying to start your own business and to do what you love, but also do it for people that appreciate your value.
Yeah. Well, so who's your best customers?
I mean, it goes around because it's people that get the technology, that get excited about it. Like one of my customers, and in fact, he called me on the way here, but I was on the phone, so I hadn't really talked to him that much. But we talk almost every day. Like there's 2 or 3 of them that I talk to every single day that when I give them an idea, they give me an idea back. Yeah. And they love to experiment, because really with marketing, it's so trendy. Things change all the time. And if you get there stuck, oh, this worked, let's stay with that all the time, you'll end up falling behind. So A/B testing everything, but trying to be strategically innovative with your company and your thoughts and just your outreach and just trying to figure out new things. I love my customers that are looking for those things too. Yeah. And like, hey, Mike, help me figure this out, because they know I will. And that's that to me is a lot of fun, because they're bringing stuff to me as well. That's like, oh, I'm going to use this for other people. Let's test it out. Hey, what if I test this on your stuff? He's like, yes, let's go. So, I mean,
that's pretty good.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. I have a client right now that has really discovered he loves teaching. But he only likes it to people who are interested and they're engaged and they want to learn. So your customers are a lot like that too. And so because I bet you a lot of people are scared of technology or scared of change and in marketing is like,
and again, I don't really talk to a lot of them that way, because I think they know what it is I'm trying to do. Yep. And it's weird because like one of my printer clients, they had a client come to them. It's a huge branding group. They do a bunch of supplements, right? Mm-hmm. And they scheduled a call because this person did direct mail and it didn't work. Of course, we weren't involved in what they did, but they're like, okay, we're going to have another conversation, because they said, oh, we've got some new innovative stuff that we can talk to them about. I don't think they had any idea what we were about to put in front of them, which again, I love technology, because when we were talking to this person, she was in Spain. As the conversation went, you could see the sun was going down, and it was just 10 o'clock our time, but I was like, wow, it really got dark in your room. But she was blown away, like, wow. Unfortunately, it wasn't anything to do with direct mail, even though that was the client that was involved with it before. But she's like, well, if we did direct mail, how would we do it different? And that's when the strategy in me comes in and says, look, again, you want to A/B test everything, so that if you're spending money in something, even if you don't get the financial results or the goals that you wanted, at least you're getting answers. Yep. So then it's a win. No matter what you do marketing wise, if you're investing in your company because you're learning. Yep. And that's why everything needs to be accountable. I think that's part of why I do it. Is that, I've had the opportunity to work with some really big agencies, and a lot of them don't get it. They get caught in the brand and the things that look pretty, and they get caught almost in, it worked before, so we're going to do this, or we're not going to do this because it didn't work before. Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people don't do direct mails, because they tried it and it didn't work. Yep. But they didn't have any kind of the tools that track, they'll let you know that, or they didn't have enough ways the calls to actions weren't there. There's a lot of things just fundamentally that you have to do. You can't just dial it in. You really need to kind of understand. And that's why people think marketing's easy, but it really does. It takes a lot of testing. It takes a lot of
it's a science to it.
It is. There is.
So I want to ask you how you would help a particular company, but tell me about the companies that you work with. Is it retail? Is it auto dealerships? Or what would give me a standard company, and then tell me how you go in and specifically help them grow their company. It's
everywhere, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, again, because it's generally like I have a client that does weight loss. They have 9 clinics in Mississippi.
Okay, let's talk about them.
That's one of my clients that calls me just about every day just to kind of talk. Hey, what if we try this? What if we try this?
That's good.
It is good. And it's like, hey, should we get some merch? It's like, why not? It's like that's probably one of my smaller but very consistent clients, but he's always forward thinking. And it's funny because the way that I met him was actually through the automotive business that I worked for before.
Sure.
They had started this weight loss clinic stuff as almost a way to get out of the automotive grind. And I don't know if you know many people that work in automotive, but it basically is your weekends are shot.
Yeah, sure.
You work every night till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's brutal. But also the automotive, like COVID put a big old stank on the automotive deal, in a sense that it people were just buying cars. Salespeople were no longer selling.
Yeah, they weren't needed.
They were tired, and the art of sales, which usually that's the automotive. You know, if you get somebody from the automotive dealership, they can sell anything, right? Now they don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's that they've gotten lazy. I think a lot of people have gotten lazy, and that's where this AI stuff kind of comes in and helps. But again, I have automotive dealership clients only because really I've worked in that field.
Yeah.
Like from when I graduated from LSU, go Tigers. Although they're terrible this year.
They're rebuilding. Yeah.
Yes, rebuilding. Brian Kelly's been there 4 years. They shouldn't be rebuilding anything. But anyway, that's another story. We'll go to that later.
Another story, which the game has changed so much.
It has.
That these old guys, man.
Well, that's why Saban left.
Saban got out at the right time. Anyway,
but
so let's go back to a service-based business, right, who has multi-locations.
Yep.
What do? You go in, and how do you help them?
Well, I initially started with, they came to me saying, hey, we want to do some marketing.
Got it.
I said, fantastic. Let me look at your brand and figure out what's going on. And then when I pulled up his website, I was like, Vincent, dude, I don't know if I have the heart to send people to this. I said, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, well, what's it going to cost to fix it? I said, okay, well, that's easy. So I fixed up his brand.
Okay.
We moved forward with it. And this was when he just had one location.
Wow.
In Oxford, Mississippi. And this is funny. You ready for the name that he called it? Hottie Body.
See, that's outstanding.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Anybody who's ever been to Oxford. Yeah.
Hottie Body, right? We went in, I fixed his branding, I fixed his website. We kind of, positioned it to where it was going to make more sense. And then I started doing marketing for him. And he had a ton of success early, right? Mm-hmm. So he started buying more, but his second one, he's like, I can't call it Hottie Body.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, the model was around colleges. So the next one he went was in Starkville. I said, if you're going to continue doing this, we need to kind of come up with more of a
standard
commercial
college
name that's going to, because we're not going to go from college to college. It's not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
And the thing is, his niche isn't really even college students, which is kind of, I don't know, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, weight loss is 35 to 55 women. At least that's what we've dialed in for him. So we bounce a bunch of different ideas back, and again, he's collaborating with me, and it's all based off of when we're looking at the name, we're looking at the audience, because it's always audience first, what's going to fit with them, and then what domains are available.
Yeah.
And we came up with whole body clinics, because you got Whole Foods.
Yep.
Whole, I think what was that diet thing? Whole 180 or something like that. They had a lot of Whole 30. That's what it is. Thank you. So it kind of fit a little bit in those kind of niches with a totally different deal. But also it was because he's going to offer everything for the body, that's part of where we're going with the growth. It's not just about weight loss, but it's about mental health and
education,
supplements and so it's whole body, right?
Yeah.
So hey, this makes sense. We love it. Yeah. So we started doing that, and he, since then he's opened up, and that was 3 years ago. He's opened up 9 clinics, all of them Mississippi. So I've done a lot of his Facebook stuff. With him together, we've worked with this. We created this AI. He's got the AI agent on his deal. The AI agent is actually scheduling appointments. It's doing a ton of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of customization for him with it, because he basically was one of the beta testers for all of it. So he's been doing it longer than anybody else. So they're figuring it all out. And that's kind of what I love about him. So it's like, even if a new product comes in, I'm saying, hey, you want to test this? And a lot of things I'll do with him just at cost, because one, he's my guinea pig.
Yep.
And he allows me that flexibility, but I'll be able to do it without cost, essentially.
Exactly.
So, and it's a real experience that allows me to build case studies and all that kind of stuff. And he'll resell it to some of his people because he's well networked within the automotive business too. So, he's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, sure.
Then there's other clients I work with a lot of agencies too that will come to me just as far as hey, tell me about this. How do we work together with this? So I have a lot of agency partners. One of the guys that I work with actually did a ton of work with all the Shark Tank guys. Brent Duskin, he is and he's in like in Seattle. So it's like I'm all over the place, which it's to me, I love the fact that I can talk to anybody anywhere in the world pretty much and get their global views, get their ideas from it, and different things come from different people. I mean, Cajun Land, we're built different.
We are.
I mean,
we go about things differently. Yep,
yeah, I mean, going back to the whole coaching thing, that's how I used to pick my team. If they had a Cajun last name, those are the first ones on my list because
they're resourceful.
They're brought up different.
They don't quit. Yeah,
yes,
I know.
It is. And I tell you what, those were always.
Yeah.
They did me right. You know, you get you a Couchon or you get a Delacroix, you know,
yeah. That's hilarious.
It is. But somebody else taught me that, saying, you got to go for the Cajun names. Like, but you got a point.
Yeah.
But back to that, he has been, that Brent Duskin has been just I talk to him every day. We have actually a scheduled call every day. I did talk to him on the way here. He has a different kind of mindset. Like, because he's worked with some of the biggest people in the industry, and he understands, like, and he's older and he's ready to retire. So he's trying to figure out, hey, what's the plan?
Yeah.
Mike, we got to figure out something. Let's build this together. Let's do what we got to do. But he brings me a lot of different companies that we work on those same kind of strategies. And it's always audience first. What problem are you solving?
Yep.
And then how do we leverage? What kind of hook can we leverage to get them in? And then what channels are going to be the best to meet them? Where do they exist? So
another thing that I look at in companies are like, what are you built for, right? There's certainly the audience, and then, but what if the company is not built for the type of tools and the marketing and the willingness to try stuff? What do you do when you go in and somebody is going to block if they're just not your ideal customer? Well,
I'll give them advice as much as they want, but generally it's just there's not a fit for everybody. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I think, and this is a Brent Duskin thing to say. He goes, I always walk in and tell them, how many leads can you handle? Not how many do you want?
100%.
How many leads can you handle? It's because if you don't have the processes in place, and that's kind of also a little bit being the everything for the last, for that other company was I had to manage all the CRM. I had to manage the salespeople. I had to understand all of the flows after that lead comes in. AI is doing a lot of that, but understanding how that works and being able to look into somebody's CRM and basically saying, okay, if I deliver this lead to you, what are you going to do with it? And if they don't know, then it's a problem. So you have to kind of go backwards a little bit sometimes as far as like, what does that mean to you? What is the KPI? What's the lifetime value of a customer?
Correct.
Let's figure out not necessarily what your marketing spend is or how much you can afford in marketing, but really how much can you afford to lose by not doing the right type of marketing and have the right type of process.
So you have to go forward and backwards, right?
You look at the whole picture.
You look at everything. And so, and I guess you'd bring somebody in like me if they have to figure out how to.
And it's funny somebody was saying, "Oh, so what does Jeff do?" I said, "Well, dude, he's just like me. He's one of the nicest people in the world." And they couldn't quit laughing. They're like, "Oh yeah, just like you."
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But as I was telling them I have a client that she said she wants to. I need to get all your information to send to her.
I'll give you my number to my sales associate. And I love how you, going back to that, you come up with names with AI. And so when you told me that, I'm thinking Blair, Claire. I'm thinking all of these names. I thought of it like 3 days.
One of the auto dealerships is Jamie with the AI.
Yeah. And there's Jaime, and you can have a Hispanic voice. You know what I mean? So I went crazy with that for a couple of days. Just that's the way my mind works. Mm-hmm. This podcast, we talking about leading people, growing companies, and living your life. Let's talk about that. Like, what is you're on your own, and you have these amazing, menu of tools that you can do that. How is it really? How has your company helped you live your life? Because man, you're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been a different meal. And I've tried to start my own company probably prior to I had an 18-year stint, or actually probably longer than that. But I remember trying to start my own company, and it felt like it failed miserably. So I was again. Your mindset on a lot of things is that it's always in the back of my head. I can't start my own company because I'm going to fail. and so it was hard for me, because you almost like want a little bit of a runway. You want to, if I don't have this in this little foundation, what can I do? Part of it was a giant struggle, especially with the burden that we have right now with, 2 kids in college. It's not cheap.
Not a little tiny college.
Well, so, my son is graduating from Notre Dame this year. So that's super, super proud of him. But I tell you what, my wife and I have been living like we're in college in order for him to go to college.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. And on a totally different subject, that's one of the things that we prayed about. And we basically had said that we're just going to give him his inheritance now. When it's going to make a difference, because we really thought this would impact his life in a positive way. And I tell you what, as an LSU grad, I hated Notre Dame. I mean, I really did. I was like, oh my God, these guys I can't believe his experience has changed me. Like being on that campus and seeing how they are student first. Because, they have like the playoffs this year, they're hosting it, and every student's getting a ticket. Every student. That's student incredible. First priority, and I think their tickets are $35.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me is that they're doing it the right way.
They're doing it the right way, which I feel like we're doing it the right way. It's clients first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we want clients that are also client first.
Yes.
Right? And so that's a big lesson learned. That's kind of like a little light bulb moment. Did it come on? Oh, there we go. Ding. Here at Company Growth Academy, we've begun teaching 20-minute growth strategies. They're free, they're fast, and they're full of information to help you grow your company. For more information and to sign up for our advanced notification list, just go to 20togrow.com, 20togrow.com. You mentioned it earlier, you're able to choose your clients, and you appreciate what Notre Dame has done for their students, especially for your son. And then all of a sudden, we're doing this in our companies. What are some of the other big life lessons that you've learned along the way?
I think part of it is you can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
I think you really do need to lean on your networks. College wasn't necessary. I don't know if I learned a lot at college. Of course, I did go to LSU, but I networked with some pretty good people.
Yeah, sure.
And again, even like the 18 years I spent with this one business may or may not have been the best experience all the time, but there were some really good experiences in it. And I was able to meet a lot of very good people that I'm networking with today that's allowing me to have success.
Yep.
And leaning on those people and trying to leverage it. And that's one of the things that I encourage, especially anybody going to college, I think education is important, but I think your network is probably the most important thing that you can do when you're in college or when you're outside of college, and how you should really try to find your people, regardless of how they are, just like your people, because those friendships will last forever. And then when you need something, you just don't know how many windows will open up, because there's no guarantee that you get a job when you leave college.
Well, no, they say 74% of first jobs come from a relationship. And then your first job is the one, that's how you're going to get your second job.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding. My nephew got married this past weekend, and his brother, another one of my nephews, got up and said, you know what, it's amazing to watch how this young couple has, they fostered those relationships from high school into college and now into adulthood, and everybody is there. So you're saying the exact same thing. And I can tell you some of the guys that I've been able to keep in touch with, and it's important for our health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have friends, but in the business world, relationships are everything.
Well, and I think I was telling Jaidan that too, because she's like pre-vet, my daughter, not my AI agent, named after my daughter though, by the way, that her picture is actually on my little chat bot, but, because she's pre-vet, and she made friends with the vet, like the pre-veterinary sciences teacher. And I said, you need to make friends with every one of your teachers.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Honestly, at LSU, I made friends with Jenny Peters. Shout out to Jenny Peters. I think she was running varsity at the time, the athletic shoe. I think it might just be the local. I don't know.
Varsity.
They have them in Baton Rouge. They actually have one in Mandeville. She was teaching a marketing class, and she connected me with an internship, which that internship Nancy Carter, who's, she'll probably, she's on LinkedIn. That gave me a portfolio and a resume to get my first job. So it was relationship. I've never really sent out my resume to get a job. It was always kind of built off of relationships.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it's extremely important to talk to your teachers, to talk to the people in your classes, because if they're in your class, they're basically probably doing the same thing you're going to do when you graduate. So that's your network right there. It's not just like fraternities and all that, I think, are great as well. But again, it's about your network. Find your people. And don't, it's hard to get out of your comfort zone. But that's one thing that, Trey taught me, or that I'm super excited for him, because he went to Notre Dame without any of his friends.
Yeah, without a soul.
I mean, it's 14 hours away. That's, that's a long way to be away from home for the first time.
Yeah, I love it.
But he did that like his first year at St. Paul's. He'd never played football before in his life, and he went out for the football team because he heard that's how you make friends. And I was like,
great.
And then his second year, he said, "You gonna play again?" He said, "Dad, I wasn't that good."
That's great.
I said, all right. Well, at least you know your zones.
And he probably earned respect from a lot of people on the team.
He did, and he got into lacrosse through those friends, and he did that for 5 years, and he loved it. Loved every bit of it. So
two opposing things here, where we're talking about relationships and how important they are, and then tools that are using AI.
Yes.
I believe, though, because, in sales, they talk about 21 touches, right? Mm-hmm. And a touch might be a thank you note, might be an email, might be a phone call, right? AI is allowing us to foster relationships with our prospects or leads or customers, right?
Absolutely.
And so that just shows one of the importance of using the tools that you provide, along with the not even philosophy, the truth, that you have to continue fostering relationships, so you can do it with technology as well. I love it.
Look, and I agree. I think AI does a lot of the grunt work that people either are too busy for, or they get in their own way with, because that's always like, I got to remember to call, send him happy birthday. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I get that. Well, if you load that into your system, I think for like our dealers, we have them to where it'll send an anniversary on their vehicle. It'll send them a birthday message. It'll send them, all the service reminders, anything like that. And then it's not necessarily always selling.
Yeah, correct.
But there's a lot of times there's just a message in it saying, look, if you're ever interested in trading, let us take a shot at it at least. It might be surprised because we're family, kind of, you get a different feel from it. So I think, again, the extent, it's a little scary where AI is going, especially when you see all these old sci-fi movies, like iRobot, it's like, man, it's a little bit weird, because when you're talking about efficiencies, you're trying to tell AI, all right, I'm creating you to become more efficient, right? Because I want my sales guys aren't following up with their leads. They're not asking for the Google reviews. They're not following up, like if they sold a vehicle, if there was missing parts, they're not following up with them to make sure they come and get their parts or anything like that, right? They're not doing the little things.
Oh, the fortune is in the follow-up.
It is. And they're not looking for the opportunities within their prior sales. They're not looking at this stuff. But I mean, again, it's hard for them to go and find all that data again. Like, our memories are limited.
Yeah.
The AI does all that for you. And even if you don't want them to communicate with it, to communicate with your customer, you can train the AI to communicate with your sales guys and create those tasks. You know what I'm saying? You can customize it how you want. Like that. It can be built in to where if you don't want it customer facing because you're scared it's going to say something rogue, which there's no guarantees, but I feel really confident the way that we have this structured, and as much as we've tested it.
Well, and you're in the early days, though. I mean, it's just going to get better.
And the thing is, it's going to probably be more reliable than a human. To not go rogue.
I mean, because sales guys will not follow up.
Then I know who will. We're talking about that one, that one agent where the guy was asking for snow bunnies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
An agent, a human might have gone rogue on that dude.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But the AI agent handled it well. So, look, again, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I have a feeling that if you're looking for business growth, you're going to have to implement it one way or the other. And again, it's just like if you're saying, oh, do you use the internet? The internet's used a million different ways for different businesses, different, so AI is going to be the same way. So I just encourage people not to get nervous about it. But again, it's all about education and understanding how it can help you.
Yeah.
And having those conversations. So if somebody wants to have that conversation, let's have it.
Yeah. And I think they have to just appreciate where they were, let's say 10, 15 years ago, when they said, I'll never put my credit card in a website. You know what I mean? And now, well, they go to Amazon pretty much every day, and so things change, you earn trust and you do that. So last question, what is the next best thing in marketing, or have we already talked about it?
It's a very broad question because I think it's different for everybody.
Yep.
I do think that there's a lot of hidden opportunities within your business that you could be missing out on. And I find that with
best answer.
Most of them, because I do think that there's the little things that people can do in their business right now. And that's just part of what you do as far as like flows and processes and just making sure lead management is there. I think there's things that even just as, I was talking to one of my other clients today that was saying that somebody came to him for help and he said they're stuck at like 19 million and they can't get over it. And he said, well, I know exactly what the problem is. It's leadership.
Yeah.
And it starts there. Yeah. And that's more your deal. My thing is about creating conversations. That the relevant conversations is what creates growth, but you have to have the right tools in place, not just to initiate those conversations, but to follow up and finalize and make sure you close those deals and just be true to your business with everything that you're doing. Like make sure that the problem you're trying to solve, that you can actually solve it. And then if you communicate it the right way, I think it's a win. You can't help but win every time.